up on a farm and always enjoyed it. I guess it's what you say, it's in your blood.
There's not a whole lot better job to have than to be able to work with your family on, on your own property. It's kind of a dream job.
We all enjoy doing this, but it's a business. You have to be profitable at it, some capacity.
Yeah. Hopefully Mother Nature cooperates and it'll pay us back.
You gotta be able to plan early. I mean, that's key. Maybe this is the field to hit 400. I don't know. I'm sure the hell gonna try.
Every year, the American corn farmers do battle, not just against unfavorable markets, mechanical challenges, the weather, and Mother Nature itself, but they engage in a contest against each other to see who can grow the most corn per acre.
I plant corn.
All the cuss words, just all of them all at once.
Now nothing works.
We're kind of down until we figure out what's going on here.
I sit there and I think about trying to get out. It's one of those things I don't think I ever can because I'd never be able to relinquish control. If you let somebody else farm your ground, you have to let them farm it. You can't go out there and tell them how you want it done. I can't say I've never thought about hanging it up. I mean, it's very emotionally taxing. You get on such a roller coaster of emotions, and you got so much riding on everything you do that, yeah, I mean, it can be a struggle, especially when things aren't going well. You get bad weather events or bad marketing events or anything like that, and sure. The sucky part about farming is you can't get out when it's sucky because who would come do it? You couldn't make me rent more ground. I don't want any more. I'm losing money on every acre. Why do I need any more? So you're kind of trapped inside that system. When times are good, you don't want to get out because you're making money and it's fun. I don't know what else I'd do in life. The same strengths that my employees have would be my weaknesses. I'd speak my mind. I'd be seeing things my own way, and a lot of guys don't have room for that in their operations. They just want to hire a heartbeat. Get out there and do what I told you. Well, what you're doing is wrong. So I don't think I'd last very long. I'm not emotionally ready. Not yet. I still got stuff to prove.
This is Corn Wars.
Okay, I think we're ready to move.
Now nothing works.
Corn wars, so we'll be duking it out. That's right. So we're kind of down until we figure out what's going on here.
I guess it's what you say, it's in your blood.
Kind of reality check.
We've gotten, probably one good week's worth of work in planting-wise since you guys were here last. And that's very unusual for us. Normally, we'll get some rain this time of year and it may shut us down for a day or two, but there's just been weeks where we've been sitting here doing nothing, and that really is pretty frustrating. I don't know how those guys back east deal with it. We're not used to this wet stuff. It's been very, very rainy. But like this field here, we were trying to plant it and it was way too wet. And this was soybeans last year, and you can see piles on occasion out here where the stupid planter just wouldn't go through it. And there was more rain coming, so we had to go. We're already behind. There's already weeds out here, which I wouldn't normally like to see, but the year being the way it is, it's just one of them deals. We know what the right thing to do is, and we just can't get it done because of the weather, because of the budget concerns, or whatever else. There's 1,000 factors. If corn was $8 a bushel and if weather was right, we'd be doing things a lot differently. And on irrigated ground, it'll take $800 an acre to get it through harvest, input cost. So you got to grow a bunch of bushels to cover that. The reason you spray crops is to help avoid some of the stress that comes from having weeds. You know, when you have non-target crops out there, weeds, they're taking some of the water and some of the nutrients and some of the sunlight that would go toward the crop you want to grow. So you're just trying to get rid of that competition. You know, normally I'm all about competition, but not in my cornfields. I want my cornfield to be big, fat, happy, and lazy. Can I get a what? Holla if you hear me. Who knew being a farmer you had to know all this chemistry crap? When guys take it personally when they up and don't pay attention. It's like, well, dumb, you know, you want me to carry you everywhere? Accept some personal responsibility. Batch boy, yeah, good stuff. If a guy's gonna be trying to emulate some other farmer, you know, like basketball players want to be LeBron James or Michael Jordan, something like that. If you're a farmer, you want to be like David Hula. He's just a good dude. There's a lot of guys who do good work and are good people, and he'd be at the top of that list, I think. I'm still coming after his ass. That's right.
Just like anything, if you've had success, then you get a bullseye on your back. We had a crop set for 400 plus bushel corn last year in some areas, and then when we got to harvesting it, it was struggling to even be 300 just because of some extenuating weather scenarios. And you don't want to blame weather, but oftentimes weather is a reason you have shortfalls. Man, I don't know it all. I just know how to surround myself with good people. I mentioned agronomists, the seed folks, the fertilizer industry, and the biological folks like Philip, and you know, just surround yourself with good people. And it makes me look good, makes my life go a lot easier. I was up at another farm when this storm came through, but normally the storms come from the south, and they came across the river and had some sheet rains, and then all of a sudden had a little bit of hail for probably about 35 seconds or so. or maybe even a minute and a half. Enough to shred some leaves. You know, this isn't quite as bad as we have another field that looks a little bit worse. Fortunately, seems like it didn't hurt the growing point, and I don't think it looks like it bruised any of the stalks. So with some fungicides and some other products, I think we can revive this crop to get some potential.
A lot of things happening here with this hail event. What we're trying to do is go back in, get this plant jump started, get it back into gear so we can hopefully establish a really good yield here in this area.
You just don't want to not have what you need. So we make sure we have it all. Never-ending supply of products. All right, I'm just gonna drive the forklift over there, then I gotta fill up the sprayer. Hey, this is be like Corn Wars with forklifts. We have battle rounds, yeah. Yeah, that's right. So we gotta be good stewards of fertilizer. We don't like to broadcast any nitrogen. So most all their nitrogen goes out either through the planter or in the growing season when the crop can utilize it. We had that hail damage yesterday, so my plan today is to change my sprayer from dribbling nitrogen to spraying. I'm gonna take these hoses off. You want some of these caps? Just make sure the black piece is on there when you pull it off. So I want to spray some products on the damaged hail just to give it a chance to get its act back together. And I've run water through the machine so we don't have pesticides on it. We side dressed 48 rows, so there should be, I think, 49 hoses. Ten years ago, we were starting to see 300s, and if you said we'd have been picking 400 or 500, I'm like, man, no way. But yeah, we have. We've had some really good weather years, so that definitely helps. When we started off this year, things were right. We started on the 13th of April, probably not the best day to think of, 13, but we were warm, we were dry enough, and we got it, and the corn came up 7 days. Awfully concerned, I might have planted it too shallow, but no, we had the good 2-inch depth. Corn came up fine, then we had a rain event, so it knocked us out for 7 days, and then we got back towards the end of April and started back up. Then about the second week of April, we had a cool wet spell where here we were about at V3, V4, and we're getting cloudy days, rain, and cool. When I say cool, high in the mid 50s, lows in the upper 30s, low 40s. So we were trying to set the girth of the year at that stage, and hopefully we'll know later if we made an impact on it. But other than that, we've had a great growing season. We've had some cool days, cooler than normal for May, and then we're in this wet spell, and then as we see a hail event this past evening.
Yeah, we'll go look at some new things. Oh, it would sure be nice on the contest fields to be up over 400. That's what we're kind of aiming for. I don't know if we'll get there, but wow. Mechanical weed removal, kids. It's been so long since we've had a wet spring like this that I just don't really know how it's going to affect us. I mean, we're behind where we would normally be, but normally we're also limited on our yield by how much rain we get. So we're way above normal now on our rainfall, so you'd think that'd be a good thing. I don't know. If I knew the future, I wouldn't be doing this for a living, I can tell you that. I mean, it's sitting here, it's June 11th, and our corn's a solid V2. Come on. It's hard to cuss rain. I'm starting to learn how, but I'm really happy with how it looks right now. I don't know. There's been times when I've thought we've been over 400 before, really close to harvest, and we weren't anywhere near 400. So I've been humbled enough that I try not to predict that kind of stuff either, because that's really frustrating. Get your hopes sky high and then absolutely get kicked in the balls again. All timing, man. And this year we're so far behind just because it was so cool this spring. Even the stuff we got planted early, we're not in danger of getting froze, I don't believe. One of those things, normally when a guy's aiming for a contest field, you want to get it in as early as possible so that it's got all the chance to gather all the sunlight it can, and that's not necessarily always the best thing, because when you get it in early, the temperatures aren't as conducive for the plants. I mean, yeah, it can survive, but it's not going to thrive like it could if temperatures were warmer. So yeah, it can happen that way, where the replant stuff can be a little better. Yeah, there's a lot of things make a guy want to throw his hands up and say F it, because like right now, everything we do, you're guaranteed to lose money on unless you just happen to be the world's best marketer. Wow, that was a good one. Hang on, kids. Unless you just happen to be the world's best marketer and hit a lick somehow. But with prices the way they are, it's almost impossible to outgrow your break even. So yeah, that really weighs on a guy after a while. It's been a year and a half, 2 years of this, and there's a lot of guys chewing through a lot of equity just so they can keep doing what they know how to do. And at some point, the banker's going to make us all quit. So hopefully things turn around before that happens. Dirt in the booms, kids. That's what you want to see. As a public service to everybody watching this, try not to buy any of my used equipment. I don't try to be hard on it. It just happens. Fancy pin. This is a Yield Failure 180 approved pin. I Want to Win by Mother Nature and David Hula. Come on, Hurricanes. That's not Case's fault though, that's my 180 yield failure pin that caused that problem. Almost like magic. Again, guys who've never experienced the joy of the remote operated gates, do yourselves a favor and get one.
being able to shut the flow off, it's worth so much. It's phenomenal. Saves a lot of broken legs.
Well, corn is, and you plant it in the ground, and it sits there for a little while, and then usually on the third day is when it takes its real first drink of water. So that third day is extremely critical, and you want that drink of water to be a refreshing drink. You don't want it to be a cold chill. Like to plant when conditions are right, because we have planted particular hybrids when it turned off cool, corn came up fine, and we didn't realize it was a problem until we started harvesting it. And we were seeing 60 to 80 bushel difference. And it all came from the temperatures in the soil when it germinated. And that was pretty drastic. Put fertilizer 3 inches away from the seed and 2 inches below the seed, hopefully. When conditions get dry, sometimes it's not always below, but we do push it off to the side. And we call that a starter. And we're putting about 65 pounds of nitrogen down and about 33, 34 pounds of phosphorus. That's right. We're ready to rock and roll. Take 2.
You know, you were talking GDUs, man. We need heat to get the corn to come out of the ground in a hurry.
I mean, weather is extremely important, one of our bigger challenges. You know, my dad always says Mother Nature's gonna win. We just try to understand it and then understand what we need to do to work with it. That's right. I'm one to pull tissue samples every Monday morning, just religiously, from the time that corn has its first true leaf on it. So we all have different challenges in how we address them. You know, it's kind of good to have growers that you have some kind of rapport with, and in different regions, and then, you know, if you have a grower that you can work with that's further along in the growing season, that even helps more, because then they may come across a technology or a trait or a product that might work or might not work, and then they can help steer you in the right direction. You know, we're off to a great start. You know, we got some fertility levels kind of where we are. We're well balanced. You know, we've been fighting a few little, like magnesium. You know, we're fighting a little bit of that. Not deficient, but just not where the levels need to be, in our opinion. Now, we don't like to see everything really high. You know, the good thing about having Paul Bodenstein, our agronomist, on staff is that he focuses not just on the levels, but ratios. Yeah. And, you know, he's kind of telling me, hey, we're not so bad off. So it kind of gives me a little comfort. Corn crop likes to grow in the daytime, and it likes to relax at night. So it kind of needs some rest.
We're at our NCGA corn plot for 2017. We call this field the South State Line. Probably my most favorite field just because it's normally a good producer. My affection can be bought, apparently. Trying to catch David, that son of a Wheeled out here where we've got one of our hybrid test plots. When I look out here, I'm seeing our weed control is excellent. Overall, our color looks really good. We're going to be hitting this field with some more micronutrients here within the next probably 5 days or so, depending on the weather. I don't see any real emergence issues. Our stand is really good. We dropped this at 42,500 plants per acre, and I think about every single one of them came up, so I'm pretty happy with that. Any field that you drive by where you see flags or little orange sticks or anything like that, that's some farmer doing some sort of test. So what we're testing on this field is just different hybrids. Hybrids they're all corn, they're all gonna make the same kind of corn, but think of them as different kids from the same parents. You know, each kids are gonna grow differently and behave differently, and that's all we're looking at here. We're just trying to find the hybrids that fit our growing style, that fit our yield goal, all that stuff. You don't want to know something can just kick at a 150 bushel environment, and then when you move it to a 300 bushel environment, it can't do it. So our thinking is if it can perform here, it can perform anywhere on the farm. That's the idea. I want to go fast, I want to go fast. I just want to beat David once. I hope David gets hailed out, froze out, hurricaned out 1 year. Competitive streak, that's the problem. I want to win. Like Ricky Bobby, if you ain't first, you're last.